So here we go.
And we're live.
Perfect.
Here we go. Hey man, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
I'm fantastic. Going to say hello to the world.
Hello, ciao.
We're here. This is my fourth Radical Hangout, and we're joined with a special guest, my little baby. Hey, Kian. Yeah, buddy.
Hey, Kian. Hello.
So if you want to check out Traveler Cocktail and Cuba's Cocktail, head to the link. It's in the bio. All right, let's take it away. So, Bud, this is the second time that we've tried to do this, and I'm super stoked to have you on finally.
Yeah, me too. Was a tough one.
You're doing, like I said, you're doing some really amazing things, and there was 4 points that I wanted to talk today about. And one of them, I think you're doing almost better than anyone at the moment, and that's getting additional sponsorships.
Yeah.
I saw that you've done some things with the Bitters company. Please explain that for us.
Yeah, the point with the Bitters company is that 7 Cents is a bitter company in Switzerland, and the guy who produced the bitters is a good friend of mine, a colleague. I know him since a couple of years. And so the idea came up with a cooperation with him. So I got my logo on his bottle with the recipes. And yeah, because I like to travel, I also will get small bottles for this, and I can leave them in the bars for the guest shifts and spread the love of travel out to the world.
That's fantastic, man. And is he giving you some sort of like back end sponsorship deal? And for those that are watching, how does somebody go about getting additional sponsorship deals in a competition like Bacardi Legacy?
Actually, I don't have a sponsorship. I only have the sponsorship of Bacardi. The thing with the bitters is doing me a favor.
Amazing.
We work a lot together, and he said, "Hey, why not? I just put your drink on it with the label, and if it helps you, it also helps me." So it's a give and giving back.
Yeah, fantastic.
I bring out the bitters to the world, and so it's a win-win.
You know, that's what I find. A lot of these companies that you work with, they're really interested in helping you because, like you said, it's a give and take, and it helps them also.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's difficult if you work with another big brand from another company, like let's say Pernod Ricard or with Diageo. I think there is a lot of competition. But if you work with a small producer, that will work very well.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip for people to take away, that when you're creating a legacy, have that in the back of your mind as well, because it's always an option that you can capitalize on. And at the end of the day, we're here to help not just ourselves, but we're here to help the industry. We're here to help smaller companies, friends, family members.
That's right. And yeah, it's good. Look around in your local area. Look for small producers, and the perfect way is if you get a small producer with great product. Maybe there is a big company also somewhere else doing a similar product, so you can replace it in different countries.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can't promote your drink in different countries.
Yeah.
Maybe the taste is slightly different, but you still have the idea of the drink.
Yeah, fantastic, man. And so explain to us, I think that it really takes in, that concept really ties in nicely with what Traveler is. So explain for me, I've been following you along since the conception of your Instagram.
Yeah.
And I really love these things you do, these travelers tips, right?
Yeah.
Because I think traveling. I think traveling is something that we all do. It doesn't have to be international. I mean, traveling could just be to and from work.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, explain to me, please.
Yeah, the idea behind Traveler came up. One of my favorite hobbies is to travel. I love to travel around the world, and I love to travel as simple as possible, mainly with hand luggage. I don't like to wait long at the airport. I just want to get out to the country, to the people there, And the idea was, how can I put this into a drink? Okay. The drink should be easy, but still get the touch. That's why I came up with the Traveler. And there are no fresh ingredients inside, so there's no fresh juice or anything else in. So you can pre-batch the drink, fill it in a small flask, and take it with you on the travels.
Perfect, man. So please explain what's inside it.
There is inside Bacardi Quattro, then a little splash of Saint-Germain. It's an elderflower liquor. Then next ingredient is Dom Benedictine to give the healthy touch with the herbs. And another ingredient is Nollybrad, so dry vermouth infused with seaweed to give a slightly salty touch, because when you travel around, you will always pass to the sea. There will always be a link to
That was something that I found really interesting, the seaweed, because it didn't feel very Swiss.
No, it's not Swiss. I decided to do that because I use Nollybrad, and Nollybrad is next to the sea, the distillery.
Yeah.
It's only 500 meters or something like this away. So, and I wanted to use something unusual, but you can find it everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And that was my legacy, to get this ingredient, because the winners of the past, they used olive oil or yogurt or simple things. Yeah. And I was looking for this, and to finish up my drink, I use orange bitters to balance it.
I think that's such a really cool thing that you hit on, because the more people that I speak to, the more that I realize that people they're stepping outside of what the contemporary is. It started off with saline solution, salt water, for anyone who doesn't know, but it started with saline solution, then it kind of moved into the oils. I know Dave Kerr did coconut oil, and a lot of people do extra virgin. Then people started infusing the two in certain ways. And it feels like this year people have just kind of gone completely left of center. I've seen soya sauce. I've seen an old-fashioned style drink with fish sauce. Yourself, you're using seaweed. I mean, that's really radical thinking, man.
Yeah, that is. I also was experimenting with soya sauce and fish sauce, but the thing is with this, it's so intense. So only a few drops more, and the drink is ruined.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. I mean, the concept behind my legacy, it's radical thinking, right? It's thinking outside of the box, and it's taking conventions and it's flipping them on its head. And I'm realizing that the more that legacy kind of progresses through it, and these cocktail competitions around the world are growing, and more so the awareness of people and cocktails are growing. People are wanting to branch out and try weird things, but in a controlled manner.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I will make my drink.
Yeah, please do, man.
How it looks like, and
while you make your drink, I'm going to be babysitting my little boy here.
Do that.
So walk us through the drink, man.
I use 50 ml of the Quattro. Then comes the Benedictine, 10 ml. The nice thing is of Dom Benedictine, you will find it everywhere in the bar, but it will be always somewhere behind the bar in a shelf, because no one is using it, but they have it.
Yeah.
Then the Saint-Germain, give a slightly touch of flowers. And then the seaweed. The nice fact with the seaweed Nollybrad is it only takes you 20 minutes, and you only need 20 grams for 1 liter. So it's very, how can I say, it's not expensive. Let's say that. So in the financial way, it's very interesting for bars to put this drink on the menu, because you have something unusual and no costs, more or less. That's the pictures we talked before about with my logo on.
That's beautiful, man. Congratulations. That looks great.
So it's stirred up. And also another nice fact with this drink is that when you put it in a flask, you go on travel and then you take out the flask at the sunset and you show it with a girl, or during skiing with your friends, or next to the fireplace, whatever you want.
Fantastic, man. That's fantastic.
And I tried a couple of variations. So next week I will do a guest shift. I'm gonna present my drink as a highball.
Interesting.
Topped up with soda, and also another variation with Prosecco. It works amazing. So it's like a traveler. It's very, with many different layers of the drink.
And adaptable.
Yeah. I was missing the word for that. And what I do at the end, I spray just a little dash of orange bitters above. Yeah, and that is my drink, Trevor.
Okay.
Very simple, garnished.
Yes,
Cheers.
you, brother.
Garnished with seaweed.
And that's fantastic, man. I mean, like you said, it's so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple, easy. You can keep it for about a year or longer, up to you. And if you don't finish the bottle, finish it on the next day or a year after.
So
up to you.
Tell me how are Swiss people finding the inclusion of seaweed in their drinks? Because like I mentioned, it doesn't seem like something that's so typically it's not used that high up.
Yeah, Swiss people are they need a bit of time to get used to unusual ingredients. But when the point comes and they say, yes, I go for it, then they realize, wow, nice. So you have to explain them, yeah, it's not that intense in the drink. It's just for the salty taste. And then they love it. Just have to explain how it goes with the drink.
Yeah. I get more and more impressed about with the creativity from people all around, and the willingness to open up to do something that's unique and different, because it is really hard to create a unique original legacy. I think that's very understated a lot, and for anyone that's listening to this, it's hard. It's hard to try to think outside the box in a way that is accessible.
Yeah,
you know, I need to be able to do something unique and radical here in my small little village, as well as in the Alps in Switzerland. You know what? I've got some advice for people, but what's your advice for those that want to try and create their own personal legacy?
My advice is keep it simple. Find one special ingredient. You don't have to do, I don't know, infusions with 10 ingredients inside or premixes. Keep it simple and look behind the bars, what they have in the shelves, because if you like to place your drink in other bars, you have to think about them, because if you do a complicated drink, why should you do that? It means more work for them, but for what?
Yeah.
So that's my advice. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I think that's something that rings really true with me as well. You know, I mean, inside Cubist Cocktail, it couldn't be easier. It's the only real modifier I have is honey water, and that's just a simple 1-to-1. Anyone can make it. It's with acacia honey, and then it's carta blanca, honey water, lemon juice, pasty, martini extra dry, and prosecco.
Perfect.
So that was exactly like you said. That was the core concept of how I built my drink, and how I wanted it to play out as well. I wanted it to be something that anyone could make, and I wanted it to be something that was a little bit left of center, and that's where the pasty came in. I suppose you could kind of relate my pasty to your seaweed. Not, it takes a little bit of education for people to understand that it's not going to kill you.
That's right.
Cool, man. So, hey, you're doing travelers. I'm assuming you're doing boomerangs, or you're doing you're sending out cocktails somewhere.
Yes, I will do. I'm just on it. I got the cartons for this. I send out flasks to some of the top 50 bars in the world and to some friends.
Fantastic, man.
My goal is to reach every continent.
Yeah.
Because my book is called Traveler, and I want to have it listed, or at least a picture from every continent.
Amazing. Do you have anyone up in Scandinavia that you're sending it to?
I was thinking about a guy in Finland, but I can send you one as well. It's no problem.
Hey man, send me one. I'll crack it open in Shulgit in the top 50 bars in the world. I'll throw it up on Instagram for you, and hey, it'd be my absolute honor.
Yeah, just need to address it later on, and then it will go out in January.
Hey, that's something for anyone that's considering entering Legacy. That's one thing that I'm finding a real joy. Connecting with people, and this idea of sending drinks around the world with each other. It's a really connected community, and I'm really enjoying the experience.
That's very nice. As you said, for me, competition is not to compete against each other; it's to compete together, because you learn so many things from the other guys, and great friendships show up. And I did also some other competitions before already, and my community is so huge. Everywhere in the world, when I go there, I can just ask a guy, I know someone over there, and then just send him a message.
Yeah.
And then one comes to the other one, and that's amazing.
Man, do you work close to what's it called, Onyx Bar in
Zurich?
Yeah, in Zurich. I got a good friend over there, Rommel. I don't know if you know her.
Rommel, no.
And she's the supervisor over there at Onyx. When I first made it to top 3, she was one of the first people to make my drink, post it up online. She was one of the first people that kind of really gave Cubist some love, and that was huge for me. That was kind of the first time I realized, Legacy it's an international family thing.
That's the point.
So if you ever get a chance, shout out to Rommel. If you ever get a chance, brother, head over there and please say hi, give her a hug, and give her some love for me, please.
I will try a drink then and send you a picture.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. So I wanted to talk to you about you're sending out these boomerangs around the world. How do you go about the laws? How do you go about sending alcohol out for people that don't know? Because for those who are watching in Sweden and in Norway, we have really, really strict alcohol laws.
Okay. Honestly, I don't know how to handle this. I still
just send them out and hope for the best.
Just send them out, and maybe it comes back, maybe not, and I hope it arrives at the address. I put it on and see what happens. Because if I need to check for every country their laws, it's gonna be very complicated.
Yeah. I mean, do your brand ambassadors help you at all with these kind of things, or are you doing it solo?
I do it on my own, yeah.
Okay.
I will do a guest shift in Austria in January. So I catch up with the brand ambassador of Austria. But mainly Switzerland, I also have the brand ambassador is doing a lot for us. But these things I do on my own. Don't need them help.
Yeah, and how are you going about with using that sponsorship money from Bacardi? Are you investing that into these boomerangs, or do you have bigger plans for them? And for anyone that doesn't know what I mean by that, one of the really great perks about making it this far is they give you €1,000, and they just say to you, they kind of set you free, and they say, show us how creative you can really be.
What I actually do is, I use it mainly for the boomerangs. I order flasks. I did some coasters for my drink, the recipe on. I use it for my travels. I will do in January, I do 7 guest shifts.
In 7 different cities?
Yeah.
Fucking psycho, man.
Actually in 4 different countries. I'm planning a trip in mid of January. I'm planning a tour for 4 countries, 4 guest shifts, 4 different bars in 4 days.
Do you have a wife, a girlfriend, a partner?
No.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I kind of floated the idea to my girl. I said to her, I got this money. I want to go to Russia, I want to go to Switzerland. And then
perfect. He's on, so he's quiet.
yeah. So like I said, what with turning this is before we went live, but I spoke to you about turning negatives into a positive.
Yeah.
And I live in a really small town. I don't have a huge market share. I'm a family man. I got 2 kids.
Yeah.
We've got a full-time job, and we've got Legacy. It's basically a full-time job as well. So with that money, you have to be really creative, and you have to be really, unique in your thinking to really maximize the best that you can. And some people like yourself, they use it for boomerangs and guest shifts. Others will use it for branding. Others will use it for consumer masterclasses. And how do you break down your priorities over your long-term goal?
My priorities is for the drink itself to do the guest shifts, because the drink is called Traveler, and that is what I love. And yeah, otherwise I wouldn't call it Traveler. So I have to travel around the countries and use the money for that. And I hope winning the Swiss finals, and then catch up with you guys in Amsterdam, and then don't know what happens.
Yeah,
that's really. I would say the next goal is to win the Swiss finals.
Yeah,
to go to the World Finals.
It's I'm always a really positive guy, and I always think about the positive long-term effects of entering these things. But the more that I speak to you guys on these radical hangouts, the more I want each person that I speak to make it to the globals, so that hopefully touch wood that I make it, and then it feels like we know each other,
Yeah. What also started is a cooperation with the Romanian guy, with a secret.
Yeah.
He's doing guest shifts in Romania, and he's putting my drink on his list, and I do the same with his drink. So
fantastic.
That's how to split it up, and you have more and more sold drinks.
Yeah. Hey man, well then, do you have space for one more drink on your listings?
We can do that, yeah. You can do it for a little special, maybe, if you like.
Fantastic. Well then, consider it done. That's a little e-shake there. And and for anyone that's watching, I think one of the most daunting things when you go into top 3, they tell you, right, you have to get short-term listings, mid-term listings, long-term listings.
Yeah.
And for me, that was one of the biggest, like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to go to bars? How am I going to get this drink listed?
Put your drink on, and then, yeah.
So, what's your advice for people that are watching this on how to do that?
I have to say, I'm really shy with things like this, to go to other bars and say, hey, could you please put my drink on? But I jumped above my shadow and just went to the bars, showed them my drink, gave them little samples, told them my story behind. And I would say 90% of them told me to put that drink on in January. And just do it. Just go out there and ask the people. They can't say more than no, it's not possible. Then you just go to the next bar.
Yeah. Man, it's huge. My ambassador, shout out to Jimmy Huth up there in Stockholm. He told me that you got to be shameless. Embarrassment is fleeting. You're embarrassed now, but at what cost? Hey, Nachito. Mira.
Hello. Hello.
And what I decided to do, I've decided to take the route of using opportunities like this to talk to yourself, to talk to other top 3s, and build a relationship. I'm a very relationship driven person.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of benefit in connecting with people. I find that it's more wholesome to ask somebody for a favor when you've created that bond, and like you do, going over there, giving them samples, sharing your story.
So I know most of the bartenders there. I know already, So that's why it's also a bit easier. Would be something different if I don't know anybody in the bar. Then yeah.
You know, I think a nice piece of advice would be conquer your market first, right? Conquer your city, conquer your area, and then start branching out. Because if you don't have your base behind you, things become very difficult, and you don't have your home turf to fall back on.
That's right. That's great advice.
So tell me, so what's the next step for you? I mean, Merry Christmas, by the way.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
You know, we're kind of in that weird zone between Christmas and New Year's where time doesn't really exist. You don't really know what day it is. You know, you don't know what hour it is. But what's the next step for you leading up to New Year's?
The next step is January, finish all the guest shifts. And I will do a big trip to New York, beginning of February. And I'm still looking for a bar over there to do guest shift for a couple of hours. I found already a bar there.
I might be able to help you out with that, actually.
That would be great. I connected already with a friend over there. There might be something possible. And I texted also the guys of the Legacy top 3 in the US. But in this period when I'm there, they have the US finals.
Right.
So they're all heading to Puerto Rico. And that's why I can't do a guest shift with one of them over there.
It's a shame.
So I'm still looking for a place.
But maybe there's some room to be creative there. Maybe are you able to go visit the finals and perhaps get a couple of sneaky flasks in there as well? And
yeah, but the finals is in Puerto Rico. That's okay. Point. Otherwise, I would watch it there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would be there.
When are you heading to Puerto Rico?
I'm not going to Puerto Rico. The US guys, they are going to Puerto Rico.
No, but you also got a trip, right?
Yes. I go to New York from 4 to 9th of February.
Okay. But you Swiss guys, you also want a trip over to Puerto Rico, no?
We didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. Oh.
You guys going to Puerto Rico? Or?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
We're going to Germany, to Hamburg. There will be our final.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, you know. Each region that they hold kind of different setups, because we have a Nordic final, so we go to Puerto Rico. We meet the Bacardi family. It's only for 3 days, and then we come back. Then we have about a month, and in that month we have to finish off all of our marketing campaigns, all of our shifts, get together our presentation, and then we have a combined Nordic final with Finland, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden.
Okay.
And what happens is this year each country will send one representative, but in the past they'll have maybe one representative from the Nordics that goes over. So it can be quite confusing trying to follow each and every single region.
Yeah, what we do is here, we also work together with the German-speaking countries. So our final in March will be in Hamburg. There will be the German final, the Austrian, and the Swiss. And each country is selecting his winner.
And do you have to present in English?
Yes, we do in English.
Is there anyone that you know of that struggles with that?
No. Everyone in the top 3 in Switzerland is fine with English. Yeah,
because I know that maybe if there's some people over in Lima that are watching that I've got some ties over there with, but this is being that it's a global competition, you have to speak English.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be understandable. Yeah. And that's a big thing. I think some people that I speak to here in Sweden, they don't enter because they're scared of the English factor.
Yeah. But the fact is here, when they choose the top 3, they came to the bar to visit us, and we had to tell them the story behind the drink and everything. So we had to do that in English already. So they selected already, okay, how is the English, how is the story of the drink, how is everything?
Yeah. I think for those that are watching, don't be scared. If language is the thing that you feel is holding you back, or if it's your feelings to your creativity, or if it's the overwhelming sensation of the looming marketing campaign, don't let any of these things hold you back in competing with Legacy, because they're really, at the end of the day, they're minor obstacles that you have fellow competitors globally. They're willing to help you. Your ambassador is that's their job. It's to help you, and everyone really. We're here to spread the love. We're here to spread information and knowledge, and yeah, I think that's a huge thing. Don't let any of this stuff scare you.
Yeah, and I've seen in other competitions, guys, they don't speak English very well. They had to work with a translation guy next to them to tell the story about the drink, and then they won the world finals.
Yeah.
So just find your way and jump in and just do it. Take the first step, and that's the most important step.
Yeah. Is this the first time that you're competing in Legacy?
In Legacy, yeah. I wanted to compete last year already, but there was something in between, so I couldn't enter. And that was a big plus this year for me, because I had the idea of the drink already in my mind and just had to finish small points, put the puzzle together. And that's why I could fit already, I could do a lot before the Legacy started. Let's say that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great piece of advice for anyone that's listening or watching this. Be prepared. Don't leave it to the last minute. Legacy 2019, it's well and truly underway now. But get started. I've already started playing with some ideas for next year's entry. It's never ever too early to get a head start on a competition drink, because it takes months.
Well, I had the chance in summer. I've been in Japan, and I was lucky enough to have my drink ready. So I took everything with me, my logo and everything, and I just took pictures there. I visited the top 50 bars of Japan and showed them my drink, got feedback for that before I ended Legacy. I took pictures there that they mixed my drink, and yeah, that's something, finish your drink and then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of time for marketing, you have a lot of time for, yeah, whatever.
There's a guy, Matthias Rossi over in Finland. Shout out to Ruby Cocktail. He got started months and months ago. I remember seeing him promoting things out on Instagram a couple of months before the competition even started, and it kind of tripped me out. I thought to myself, like, oh my god, have I already missed the entry? Like, what's going on? But I took a lot away from that you have to be prepared. You can't, if you're going to take this seriously, and if you're going to enjoy all the benefits that come with making a top 3 selection, you have to really put in the work beforehand.
Yeah, don't be scared of the other guys. I've seen so many marketing campaigns already of the top 3 in different countries where I say, wow, impressive, really impressive. And then I say to myself, okay, I do my way. I don't get stressed by them.
Yeah.
I do what I have in my mind, and for me, that's the best way. And yeah.
Who stands out for you? Is there anyone in particular? No, but yeah, I know what you mean. When you kind of scrolling.
Everyone is doing great. Let's say that.
Yeah.
I follow the guys on with the hashtag Bacardi Legacy 219, and the Russian, Romanians, all over the world, they're pushing hard.
Yeah. I spoke to Mel and Nuevo Sol over in LA about this, and it was one of those things that it can be daunting. It can be overwhelming to see, like you said, some guy in Russia absolutely crushing it. Like there's a Photon Cocktail. He's everywhere. Like he's in 1,000 cities doing 1,000 shifts, and you just think like, bro, how can I can't hold it with this guy. Again, don't let that scare you. You have to work within your market, within your boundaries.
Maybe his drink is not that good as your drink, and marketing is only 1/3 of the competition. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
2/3 the drink and the story.
Absolutely, man. I think
It's the
that's
main part.
that's a great point. You know, we can get lost very easily in thinking that, okay, the drink is 100%, or the presentation is 100%, or the marketing is 100%. But they're in thirds, and they're broken up, and you have to really take them each with a grain of salt, and you have to plan it. And this goes back to, setting your long-term goals. This goes back to understanding what it is that you want to achieve as an individual, as your own personal legacy, and you got to be dedicated. You got to stick to it. You can't chop and change. You can't add ideas, take away ideas halfway through them. It just needs to be very German methodic.
Yeah. And in case that it doesn't work, no worries. Try it next year again. You know then how it works.
Yeah,
That you have to start earlier.
yeah, absolutely, man. Man, it's a really incredible experience. I've got to be honest with anyone watching this. I didn't know really what to expect when I entered in. Like you and like nearly everyone that's competing now, we've been competing for years. And you've done world class, you've done bowls, you've done morning, you've all these other competitions, but nothing really compares to what legacy is and what legacy makes you do, and in the same breath, what you can take away from it.
Yeah.
What
The
are
thing
you
is,
what are you what are you enjoying the most?
what I enjoy the most is to get my ass up every day and pushing it harder to get everything done from a list and get out of the comfort zone. Let's say that I enjoy the most, and the contact and the cooperations with other bartenders from around the world.
Yeah,
The main things, the friendships which will come out of this.
yeah. I think that was a huge thing when I started these radical hangs. I wanted to meet people. Sometimes you can feel that you're kind of boxed in and you're stuck in your own little town and in your own setting. And I wanted to take what my concept was. My concept is it's thinking outside the box, it's breaking conventions and shattering norms. And I've never seen live streaming used before in Legacy, and it was kind of threefold. I wanted it to be for consumers, I wanted it to be for industry, and kind of more importantly, I wanted to meet people. I want to meet Gunther over in Switzerland, and it's not so easy for me to travel down there.
Yeah.
But
But with the
hey,
live stream, it's perfect. It's perfect.
yeah, 30 minutes talking real talk with someone who's sharing the same experience as you, but just with an altered perspective. You become almost like family, and it's the weirdest feeling, actually.
Yeah, just because of a video, and there's one line. There is the legacy that connects everything, and the rest is just a great talk.
Yeah, and when I created the drink, Cubist cocktail, it was all about how art is perceived and how art is viewed. The same piece of art, it's viewed in different ways through different eyes, and that comes down to perspective. That comes down to interpretation and understanding. And if we were to amalgamate this into legacy being the art, we're viewing the same piece of art, but we're viewing it through our own eyes.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to hear. I'm not doing boomerangs because of laws and because my priorities are structured in a different way. But to hear you do it, and to hear you succeed at it, and to hear how you're completing and compiling all these goals, it's a really cool thing.
Thank you. What I find really great is your cocktail's name. It's amazing.
What do you like about it, man? Thank you.
That's a great name. It connects everything to the history, and then also in a modern way, and it doesn't exist so far.
I really appreciate that. That was a few minutes ago. I was preaching about being prepared. My drink was prepared for quite a while. The concept was prepared, but the name I kind of put that in last minute. It was called superiorism. And I thought, yeah. And then right before I hit send, I was like, oof, that sounds quite political. And I thought, like, no, I can't go with that. And I thought, all right, well, Cuba, Cubans. Well, I was inspired by Cubism. So it just, Cubist mentality just kind of clicked. And 45 seconds before hitting send, I changed the name, and I'm really proud of the name. I'm proud of the concept, and it's a drink that I know that win, lose or draw, I could make for the next 40 years.
It's also something very important to give an advice to other guys. Create a drink what you like, because you're the guy who has to represent this drink and also has to drink this drink.
Yeah.
And that's for 4 or 5 months. So create something easy that you enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great point. I spoke to my investor about some drinks that didn't make it through top 8. And they said that on paper, it looks delicious. On paper, the drink concept was great, but it just wasn't simple. And it wasn't something that they believed could be replicable over a long period of time. Like, for example, if you want to make your own orgeat, I mean, don't do it. If you're going to enter these kind of competitions, just use Monin. It's fine. If you would have said to me, okay, well, in order to make this seaweed vermouth, I need everyone around the world, you need to have a rotavat. You need to redistill seaweed into there. I just like, hey man,
no,
I can't do that. But if you tell me 20 grams,
that it's clear and
yeah, no, thank you. But you told me once. I remember it. It's 20 grams of seaweed into 1 liter of vermouth. Bam, bam. It's done. It's easy.
And seaweed you get easily everywhere, and you can use the brown algs, the brown seaweed, but also the nori seaweed.
Yeah,
just slightly different in the vermouth.
And it doesn't change the drink too radically.
No. Because there's only 10 ml of the vermouth inside, and in the drink itself, it's just for the salty touch, I would say.
And for anyone that's listening to this and that's curious about Traveler Cocktail, if seaweed is something that they're opposed to, could they use a saline solution as kind of an adapter?
I didn't try that, but it might work, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Because that could be something that, down the line, maybe not this year, maybe in 10 years, maybe that pops up, and something good to just be aware of.
Maybe it works. Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
So are you working today, man?
Yes. My sister is already about to. Philip, say hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
He's ready to build up the bar because we open in 20 minutes.
Yeah, all right. Well, man, I'll jump off. I'll let you get pretty. Let you go get your wrist ready to stir down 1 million travelers.
Thank you.
And hey, man, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of Radical Hangout. It's always a pleasure to talk to people.
And all the best for you also with the Radical Hangouts. Awesome idea, really. And as you said, no one did that before. And it's great to catch up with the world, and the easiest way for everyone. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate those words. And like I talk to everyone that does this, I'd love to do a catch up right before our finals, see how you're trending along, and just to catch up, man.
Yeah, you do that. Thank you, man. Enjoy.
Thanks, buddy.
Ciao. Take
care. Man. All the best. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
See ya.